going to look at 7 ways to unleash your alpha male power. I've already talked about many ways and many mindsets and techniques to use, but now I'm going to talk about 7 very specific things that help you unleash that power. You know, their mindsets and their ways of going about things. So, number 1, I'll call them out first and then I'll go into detail afterwards. Number 1, realize that you're already good enough for most women. Alright? Very important one. Place yourself above women in terms of dominance. Realize that it's easy to be an alpha male. Realize that you're allowed to be an alpha male. Adapt to the modern environment. Act rather than trying to get inspired. Retain your power by being honest and real. Alright, so let's have a look at the first one. Realize that you're already good enough for most women. The thing is, right, most guys don't understand this. And you'll notice from now on, after I explain this to you and you understand it and you start to see it and experience it, you realize that most guys absolutely do not get this. And as a result of not knowing it, they're living in a world of confusion, fear, bitterness, self-doubt, and so on. Right? I'm about to clear all that away for you for good. This mindset gives you a certain type of power. Right? And women will sense that you have this power when you realize that you're already good enough, right? And then you know it. And you then, you know, as I said earlier, like, your thinking results in behavior and actions and vibe and presence and all that sort of stuff, right? So when you get this thinking right, then you start to behave like that. Realize that you're already good enough for women, and you start to see that. And I'll explain why, you know, but you start to see it, and then you start to behave in accordance to that, with that. So you walk up and talk to women, and you just got that sense about you. They just get that sense. It's like, oh, okay, right. You know, this guy is confident, he believes in himself, and they just accept it. They just say, okay, you know, this guy is a confident type of guy. Okay, so one of the first things I need to tell you to help you understand this mindset, but also let go of your skepticism towards this mindset, and actually start to believe it and see it for the true reality that it is. Right? Because a lot of guys don't want to believe this. But let me tell you, as I said, realize that you're already good enough for most women. Look around the world and you'll see that other guys have girlfriends. Normal guys. In fact, you might look at a lot of them and think, that guy's a douchebag. That guy's, what's he? You know, he doesn't even look like he has a job, or he doesn't even look like he's smart, or he doesn't even look like he's cool, or whatever label you want to put on a guy that you think is valuable and you think matters. Right, you see all these guys with girlfriends around the world, they're just normal guys. In fact, many of them have made mistakes all the way from the first conversation they had with the girl, throughout the dating process, and into the relationship. Yet they've got a girlfriend. And they made all those mistakes. And they're not super amazing, special guys. Right, so it's the first part. It's the first part of realizing that you're already good enough for most women. If you listen to TV and you listen to the things that women say here and there, and you take that as reality, you'll think that women want some sort of superstar boyfriend, some sort of male model out of a magazine. You know, tall, dark and handsome, ripped, perfect abs, you know, $1 billion, you know, a sports car, you know, celebrity connections. You know, if you listen to what they say, it's very easy to get pulled into that. But if you look around, you see, hang on a second, these other guys are making mistakes and they've got girlfriends. You know, the thing is, you're probably a good guy, you probably got good intentions, you're probably a cool guy, right? Why aren't you good enough for women? What, like, you go out into situations and you think you're not good enough? Yes, you are. You're more than good enough. The thing is, women are just waiting for you to believe that. Most women are just waiting for you to believe that. That you're already good enough, as is, as you are right now, as you sit there watching this video, who you are right now, this moment, you're already good enough for most women, And most women are just waiting for you to believe that. Believe it, talk to them, and just move it forward. That's all they're waiting for, most of them, right? Sure, there are a lot of women out there that are going to make it more difficult for you, and they're gonna expect more from you. They're going to expect you to be more confident than you are right now, more masculine, better at conversation, and basically know a lot of the stuff that we teach here at the Modern Man. They're going to expect that from you. But for the most part, most women are just happy to accept a guy that believes he's good enough and doesn't, feel like he has to put her on a pedestal and get her approval. If you've got the type of confidence where you think that you're already good enough, that's the type of confidence that women look for in a man. So just by having that and being who you are right now, you've got most women that you meet. Right? They're gonna go with you. That's it. However, most guys in the world, as I said, most guys don't know this. They don't know this secret. And you'll see from now on, you'll notice that most guys work their asses off to try to get a sports car, to try to get an amazing career, to build muscles. They're, spending so much time in the gym, trying to look better, hoping that eventually, when they get to that point, then women will like them. What a failing strategy. I mean, you might be one of those guys now. I've spoken to and coached a lot of guys over the years that have really spent a lot of time working on themselves. They've gone through university, gotten a great job, and congratulations on that. That's fantastic. You should strive to do great things like that. But as these guys found out, it's not the answer to success with women. You don't get to build muscles and then women say, "Oh, all right, okay, now I want you. I choose you. Come here. You can be my boyfriend." That's not how it works. Women are waiting for men to approach, and women are waiting and hoping to meet a guy that believes he's good enough. So with this mindset, with this realization, realizing that you're already good enough for women, and then having that as your mindset, and then acting in accordance with that, one of the things you need to do is love yourself for reasons other than the superficial. Don't try to love yourself for having a nice car, or love yourself for, having big biceps, or having, what else? I don't know. All this stuff. Just superficial stuff. You got to love yourself for deeper reasons than that. Deeper reasons of who you are at your core. You're a good guy, most likely, right? I'm assuming that because I've met loads of Modern Man customers over the years, and it's basically a very common trait. Pretty much every guy that I met's a good guy. He's got good intentions. He's just trying to do the right thing. He's just trying to get better with women so he can enjoy himself, share love with women, or have loads of women, loads of sexual relationships with women. Right? He wants to enjoy that. Right? So I'm assuming that's yourself, right? Now, you're most likely then a good guy, good intentions, right? Love yourself for that. Right? And you go up to women and you've got that, plus you're the alpha. No one is above you. You're not placing them above you. You go over and talk to women, you're not placing them above you. And it's like you walk over and it's just your place to be there. It's like, "Hey, how you doing? I thought I'd come over and say hi. I'm Dan, what's your name?" It's like, don't walk over and think that you're not worthy. You don't deserve to be in that situation talking to those girls. Right? They're not super special, amazing people. They're just people, just like you and I. Just go over and talk to them. And, you're allowed to, and you deserve to. You deserve to be there. Right? You're a good guy. You're already good enough, as is. And women are just waiting for you to believe that. Right? And that's why you see really attractive girls with ordinary-looking dudes, with below-average-looking dudes. So the thing is, women go for men who believe in themselves. And you would have seen evidence of that all the time, right? Even if the guy's got a bit of belief in himself and he just moves it forward, the woman might dump him later if he's not truly alpha and he doesn't make her feel that good and the relationship falls apart. But women go for guys who believe in themselves. Now, the thing is, if you're already good enough, but if you try to play the looks game, if you think it's all about looks and superficial stuff, then you're going to either become insecure or you're going to lose. right? It's like the example I said earlier when I said I switched my mindset for 20 minutes or whatever it was, probably not even that, and started noticing the other guys and comparing myself to the other guys. Now, if I play that looks game, I'm going to lose because I don't look good like these other guys there with the tall and the muscles and the chiseled jaws and all that sort of stuff. I don't look like that, so I'm going to lose that battle, and I'm going to feel insecure about myself, right? But I don't play that game. I'm not interested in that game that is being pushed by TV and the media. Not interested. I've got the alpha male game. I've got the power. I decide what I like about myself. I'm whatever I like about myself. I'm a cool guy. I think I'm this. I've got good intentions. I've got all these things that I want to do with my life. I love myself for all those sort of reasons. It's not like, oh yeah, I've got this cool shirt that I wear, and whatever. Superficial stuff. All right. So is that starting to make sense? The whole realize that you're already good enough, right? Can you see why you're already good enough as is, right? Now I want to add something on that. You're good enough as is, but everything that you're learning from the modern man is making you better than just good enough, right? Because it's not about just being good enough and being an okay option. This whole thing that we're doing here at the Modern Man is about, you being better than other guys. You're the best option for women, right? And you being your best self and being the happiest about yourself, living the best life that you can live. And one of the reasons for being better than just good enough is that in the face of competition, if it's you pitted against another guy and you're just good enough, but he's more confident, he's more alpha, he's better at conversation, he's better at flirting, and he's got true belief about himself, he's going to win, right? Because that's what's going to make the woman feel better, because she's going to feel more attracted to that. So it's not about just being good enough. An interesting thing about women and attraction is looking at what they actually accept as a boyfriend. Women might say all these type of things publicly and whatever, but you look at the type of guys that they are with and what they'll actually accept, it's another thing altogether. And that's because women will naturally submit to a force more masculine and alpha than them, right? They're naturally going to submit to that. In terms of the masculine-feminine sexual dynamic, a woman's naturally going to go with a guy who, he mightn't look good, he might be overweight, he mightn't have a good job, right? And she might be attractive and stylish and all that sort of stuff, but he will get her, and you've seen this all the time, man. And he will get her because he's confident, and he's just bullish about it. He's just, talks to her and knows that he can have her and just moves it forward in an alpha way. And the next thing you know, she's his girlfriend. Women will accept that because they're naturally the less dominant one. They're naturally the one that opens up. She's the one that opens up and receives, right? So that's her natural inclination. It's her natural position in the mating dance, the human mating dance and the mating dynamic. So, interestingly on this, if you put a woman in a country with a culture that she doesn't like, she might be saying, oh, I hate those sort of people, blah, 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 blah. You put her over in that country, and the alphas will be banging her very quickly. And she will be loving it, because she'll be put into that country, and she'll meet the guys will make her feel attraction, she'll submit to it, and she'll end up in a relationship or getting pregnant or whatever. She'll be brought into that, because she's not the alpha, she's not the leader. Whereas if you throw a man, an alpha male, into a country with women that he doesn't like, he'll go in there and he'll be like, not interested, don't want him. And he'll go to another country, and that's it. But a woman, they submit, they surrender, they submit to the alpha. So in terms of being already good enough for most women, it's up to you if you want to believe that or not. If you want to live the life where you're like, no, I've got to be this and I've got to be that and I can't, no, and you want to live the insecure life, that's up to you, right? But if you want to be intelligent about it, right, if you want to use your intelligence that you have, right, and be honest with yourself, then you got to be honest and say that you don't have to be a superstar to get a girlfriend. You don't have to be super amazing. Right? You see these normal, everyday guys that make mistakes when interacting with the girls, and they've got girlfriends. Right? So don't think that you have to be super amazing, perfect. Right? Just being normal is good enough, and anything special about you is a bonus. Like something special about you, like you're very intelligent and you're going to get a career in to be an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, or you're a certain type of athlete, or you're got a very good mind for philosophy or whatever. Something special about you is a bonus, but none of it is necessary to get a girlfriend. All that's necessary to get a girlfriend is balls, to believe in yourself. That's what women are waiting for. So when you believe that you're good enough, when you have this realization, you go, oh right, actually, yeah, it is true. All these other guys are just random average dudes and make mistakes and stuff, and they've got girlfriends, and I'm a cool guy, I'm a good guy, I guess I am good enough. Right? You have that realization. Then, from there, what happens is you stop trying to be perfect. You stop trying to think that you have to be perfect. And then you start to have a certain type of confidence that, when you talk to women, you know that you're already good enough and you're not trying. And as a result, that actually translates, it comes across as the type of confidence that women are really attracted to in men. They love that type of confidence in men, guys that believe in themselves. What do women say? They say, I like a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to get it, go after it, It's that sort of confidence. Another way to help you understand and believe this mindset and way of thinking and this reality and see it for what it really is and actually see it around you is women on Facebook, right? Prior to Facebook, the lives of attractive women, right? An attractive woman, her life was a mystery to most people. And to guys, it was a fantasy world. Like, he thought, many guys would think that she only was with male models, she got invited to so many parties, red carpet moments, everything was just so special and amazing and super for the hot girls. Then Facebook came along. And if you've got attractive female friends on Facebook, you'll have seen that they live pretty ordinary lives. And regardless of if they've got 350 friends on Facebook, they only hang around with 3, 4 of the same type of girls, and then they've got a birthday here and there, a work function here, a Christmas thing there, or standard things here and there, a little bit of a holiday there, but it's not a super amazing celebrity lifestyle. It's just a pretty ordinary life. In addition to that, you actually get to see who their boyfriends are, right? And what they actually get up to. And you see these attractive women, and they got boyfriends, look like douchebags, a lot of these guys. They look like wimps. They look like, nothing. And despite that, though, a lot of guys, even though that evidence is right there in front of them, they still look at these other guys and think, well, that guy must be better than me. That guy must have something that is better than me. Right? I've got to try harder. No, you don't. You don't. You're already good enough. Like, look at the guys that these women are accepting. Sure, some women are going to go for guys the 1% of guys in the world who are catalogue male models or something like that. Or they're going to go for a guy that plays football or basketball, and like he might be bigger than you or he might be better looking than you. But that's a small percentage of women. Most of us guys just look pretty ordinary, right? We're not the shiny, sparkly ones, right? We just look pretty ordinary. We're just guys. Right? And you'll see that the boyfriends that these women have are just pretty normal, average dudes. So you need to accept that. You need to accept that, okay, you walk into a situation as attractive women, don't look at them as though they're super amazing, special beings that only accept super amazing celebrity, elitist type of guys. Look at the boyfriends that these girls have. Right? Look at the lifestyles that these girls live. Prior to Facebook, a guy would look at an attractive woman and think, I can't really add anything to her life. Like, she'd be bored with me. Like, I'm just an everyday guy. Or she's just an everyday girl. Look at her lifestyle. She hardly does anything. Just normal stuff. Birthdays, functions, holiday. It's just standard. So when you go and approach women, like, as a standard, you should place them on an equal level to you, as a minimum. right? Of course, never place them above you, but as a minimum, they're equal to you. But personally, as a standard, you should be placing yourself slightly above them, if not even more. Like, women actually want a guy who they feel is better and more valuable than they are, right? So, you know, when I'm talking to women, when I see women that I find attractive, if I look at a woman, I actually think that I'd be doing her a favour, like she's going to be lucky to get with me. Because, and that belief comes from so much experience with women too, and so much, you know, having lots of women and knowing that attractive women do like me. And, you know, whereas before when I was hopeless with women, I thought that I could never get an attractive woman because I didn't look like the other guys. You know, I wasn't tall and muscly like the other guys. But after having sex with a lot of attractive women and really touching them deeply, like a deep connection, and really them opening up and surrendering, and us having a deep heart connection, and the girl orgasming pretty much every time, I know what I've got. I know the power that I have. And I know that I don't need to play that other game that the TV talks about. You know, get that sports car and then you'll be good. Then women will like you. Get that cologne and put on that shirt. Pfft, whatever. You know, women like me already, man. You know, it's like, I don't need to do any of that stuff. Although, I'd like to have a nice car. I'd like to put on a nice shirt. Why not? Yeah, that looks good. End of story. I'm not going to... It's not the answer to success with women. Okay, so another way of explaining this for you, realize that you're already good enough, right, is a term to wrap it around: valuable by default. This is it's a pre-acceptance of yourself. It's not a go up and talk to women, and if they give you good signals, and if you're doing well, then you're good enough. Then you're valuable. Or, you know, if you achieve certain things, then you're valuable. You're just valuable by default. End of story. I'm already valuable enough. I'm valuable by default, right? So, for example, for me, I have an expectation that a girl is going to like me. If I look at her, if I smile at her, if I walk over and talk to her, I have an expectation that she's going to like me. It's not, will she, can I, is it okay? It's just, I expect that she's going to like me, right? And as a result, that then results in a certain type of power, a certain type of confidence. And it's the same with pro athletes. A pro athlete, like, he's got an expectation that he's going to win. Right? He goes out into the football field and he expects that he's going to win. Or a UFC fighter goes in there and he expects that he's going to win. Like certain UFC fighters and certain football players, not all of them. They don't all have this perfect mindset, but the elite pro athletes do. In that they expect that they're going to win. They expect that they're going to play well. And as a result, that results in a certain type of power and confidence. So as a contrast to that, to give it to some more perspective, imagine that, you know, if you're going to talk to a girl, or you look at a girl, that you expect that she's not going to like you. What's that going to result in? You know, certainly you're going to feel nervous and insecure and self-doubting and confused and bitter. Your power is going to be sapped from you, right? So what I was saying at the start of this program is that this is a power that's available to you. It's a natural power. It's a power that you've been born with. You're either going to harness it or you're going to waste it. You're going to use it or reject it and deny it, right? So, you know, looking at a girl, right, don't be thinking by default that you're not good enough, or by default that you're going to have to try. Think by default that you're valuable enough. Think, as a default, she's going to like you. And get used to thinking like that. Believe me, it's a much better life to be living, right? So you think about the athletes as well. Now, if they've got the expectation that they're going to lose, you can see that too. You might have, if you do watch a bit of sports, and there's a game being played, you can see the difference in body language of a team that knows that they are losing and they can't win, and they're losing grip of the game, right? And their body language and their vibe and their presence changes, right? So their power gets sapped from them. And likewise, the guys that are winning, there's actually been studies done that have proven that when you're winning, even just little wins that you have throughout life, it actually boosts your testosterone, right? So likewise, if you're talking to girls and you feel like you're winning, you're doing well in the situation, that girls do like you, your testosterone goes up, your feeling of masculinity goes up. But you can sap that if you want. You can reject it. You can deny it. You can waste it if you want, or you can do what these pro athletes do, the elite athletes, where they're like, they know that they expect that they're going to do well. They expect that they're going to win, and they're just pumped. They just got this power about them. They're a force to be reckoned with. Now, this is something that you can get used to on an everyday basis. I'm not saying walking around the world like, yeah, I'm a winner, I take all, and get out of my way. But it's just this power that you have. You just walk through the world, you just know. You just know that you're good, you know that you're alpha, you know that women like you, you know that you don't need to prove yourself. You talk to girls, of course you like me, and it's just, things just roll. It's just a much better way of living. And I'm not saying that you go around saying to anyone at any stage, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that. It's just a feeling, it's just a knowing within you. And then that translates into your confident behaviour. Right? So you start behaving in a confident alpha male way as a result. So personally speaking, when I'm talking to some girls, say in a club, or at a party or whatever the situation, but I'm just thinking of a club for the moment because I've been going to a few nightclubs over the last few months and really having a good time. But if I'm talking to a group of attractive women, like, I don't care how attractive they are, I'm still deciding whether or not I like them or not. I'm talking to my girl, I'm flirting with her, having a good time, being a good guy, hanging out, having a good time, but I'm deciding whether or not I like her. I'm deciding on a moment-by-moment basis. Now, I'm not being arrogant about it. I'm not like looking at her like, impress me, or like, oh, you said that, well now I'm not, and then acting like an idiot. It's just this, like, you think about it. Hot women do that to guys. They're talking to guys and deciding on a moment-by-moment basis whether they want to keep talking to the guy or not, right? It's the same thing. It's just, when you know that you're valuable, then you don't have to accept second best. So what happens is, for me, when I'm talking to girls like that, and I'm deciding, as I do, on a moment-by-moment basis whether I like the girl or not, she can sense that. She can sense it. Just like when a guy's talking to a hot girl, and he can sense that she's deciding on a moment-by-moment basis whether or not she likes him. He can see it in her body language. He can see it in the way that she changes her responses and stuff, her contribution to the conversation. And, women get that sense from me, and as a result, then they try to impress. Because in addition to doing that, I'm also coming across as an alpha male, just naturally having that power and presence and confidence. I'm just talking to her, and she's feeling it. Because this power that I'm talking about, this presence is something that women feel, and they respond to. It's an intangible thing, but it is there. And women can't help but feel attraction for it. They just can't. They just can't help feeling attraction, just like we can't help feeling attraction if we see a vibrant, radiant-looking, sexy woman. We just can't help it. We're like, whoa, look at that. But I will point out that a woman can stop liking you. Just like if you're interacting with an attractive woman and you find her really, really beautiful, you might stop liking her as a person because she's not a nice person, but you're still going to be feeling attraction for her. That's still there. Likewise, a woman can be talking to a guy and feel attraction for him and stop liking him. But the whole modern man approach, everything that we teach is about being attractive and likable. It's the ultimate combination, right? So you're talking to women, they feel attraction for you and they like you at the same time. It just equals choice. You just have your choice with women. Because basically most women want to be with you. They're like, oh, I like this guy, and I'm feeling attraction. It's pretty easy. And when you get used to having your choice with women, you let go of the mindsets that other guys have, that when they're interacting with an attractive woman, even if she's not that nice of a person, or it doesn't feel right, they're not that compatible, most guys, they'll just try to make it work because she's an attractive woman. But when you're used to experiencing choice with women, and you're used to experiencing most women wanting to be with you, then you're able to genuinely have that approach to women where you're judging them on a moment-by-moment basis, and you're willing to walk away from the situation. Not in an angry way, not in an upset way or anything like that. Hey, you know, good talking to you, I'm going to head off, I'm going to go talk to my friends, or hey, I'm going to go off and grab a drink from the bar, might talk to you another time. You know, you just walk off, no, you know, bad blood, no grudges held, nothing bad. You're just not compatible with that woman, you just don't want her, right? Personally, I'm able to walk away from that because I know that I can go talk to another girl. And when you get used to having that choice, when you get used to having that power, it just adds, it's like a double bonus because, you know, you talk to women and you'll be able to do it genuinely, where you talk to them and you really are judging them. And if they stuff up, you really are going to leave. You know, and think about it. The hottest, most sought after women, that's what they do. You know, they're talking to a guy that might be going well, and if he stuffs up, and like he ruins it, they'll be like, yeah, whatever. And they're going to go, right? So you'd be talking to some girls, and it'd be kind of cool, but, you know, if they're not that compatible, you're like, yeah, okay, anyway, I'm going to go grab a drink. And you'll see the looks on women's faces, they're like, oh, and, you know, and they're disappointed, they're sad, because they've just met a guy that's really cool and confident and alpha, and they've stuffed up. And, you know, you'll have some women come back up to you and stuff like that, but, you know, you get used to being in that position of power when you actually use the techniques that we're talking about at The Modern Man, when you use flirting, when you actually have the deep confidence that we're talking about, when you don't place women above you in terms of dominance, when you realize that you're already good enough. When you do all these sort of things, you just get that as a result. So what do you say when you go up and start a conversation with a woman or some women, and you want to demonstrate that you have this particular mindset of realizing that you're already good enough, knowing that you're already good enough? Right? Well, if you really had this mindset, you would say anything, right? But to give you an example of what I say often that demonstrates this mindset, I walk up and I go and I just say, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan, right? Because being Dan is already good enough. So I just walk up and like, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. And the girl's just like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing? And they start the conversation. They feel that presence, that they see that I don't need to prove anything. I'm Dan. It's good enough, right? And they respond to that by asking me questions, saying hello, telling me their names, etc. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut to a clip of the seminar where I was talking about this particular conversation starter. I have to point out though, for the recording of this seminar, there was a camera at the back and there was a camera closer up at the side. The camera at the back was supposed to only be used for cutaway shots and things like that, and it was supposed to pick up good audio, but the guys that organised the seminar on the day messed up with the cameras. So this particular footage is only from the back, and the audio is a little bit scratchy, but you can make it out. But I'll just warn you now, it's not the best audio in the world. Later on in the seminar, like later on in this program, there's about 10 or so minutes of camera footage with the camera up the front, up the side, with good audio and stuff like that. But for now, you're going to have to grin and bear it. You're going to have to put up with this horrible audio that's about to hit your ears. So get ready. I'll see you after the clip. Just walk up and go, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. That's it. You know, because being Dan is already good enough. Right? Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. Hey, what's happening tonight? Yeah, right, this place is awesome. You know, and just start chatting. Right? I don't need to do anything special because I'm already good enough. They're going to like me. And yeah, contrast example. I'm not walking up and saying, oh, hey, how you going? I'm Dan. Right? That's showing that I'm not good enough, that I don't think I'm good enough. Right? And I'm not walking up going, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. You know, what's up? Because both of those extremes there are based on insecurity. Like if I walk up and go, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. I don't feel like I'm already good enough. Right? And if I walk and go, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I feel like I've got to prove something. Whereas I'm just walking up, just neutral. Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. Hey, what's happening? Yeah, right. This place is going off tonight. Look at you two with the cocktails. So can you understand what I mean by that conversation starter. It's just, it doesn't have to be that only, like, hey, how you going? And whatever your name is, right? I'll walk up and say all sorts of stuff, but I just, often just walk up, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? That's it. Or I'll make a comment on something, like, certain situations require a bit more of an elaborate conversation starter, like the conversation starters we talked about in the Ultimate Guide to Conversation. Like, there's so many different examples we gave there. Sometimes you need to say a bit more. Like, we talked about approaching women in supermarkets and on the street, and when a girl's sitting there with a musical instrument, waiting for a train or something like that. Often to get the conversation started in non-social environments, like environments other than bars or clubs where women are expecting to be approached, you need a bit more of a conversation starter. You need to help the woman into conversation. But, still, regardless, you're talking to her as though you're already good enough. It's not an excuse me, can I talk to you sort of body language or tonality. Like when I gave the contrast example, I said that I'm not walking up going, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. Like, excuse me, do I have your approval? And I'm not walking up going, hey, how you going? I'm Dan. I'm like alpha. It's like both of those guys are insecure. Just walking up, nothing to prove, it's all even. Walking up, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan. How you guys doing tonight? And just chatting to them. There's no worries. There's nothing that can throw me off. Like, I've got nothing to worry about. Just going over and talking to girls. Know that I'm already good enough. End of story. Okay, one other thing about realizing that you're already good enough before we get on to the next mindset is that some women are more desperate than you think, right? Than you might think. Like an attractive female friend of mine, she once said to me, I've never had a hot model type boyfriend, I just don't seem to gel well with them. Now, every guy that meets this girl says she's beautiful, right? She's a very attractive girl, but she always she gels better with just normal looking guys, average looking guys, ordinary everyday guys, like, normal job, sort of thing. Right, just normal dude. She doesn't tend to like that other crowd. Right, but most guys that see her just assume that they can't have her. She's going to go for a football player or a basketball player or the CEO of her company or whatever. She's going to go for that. She has to, because she's beautiful. Come on. And from knowing her and many other women like her over the years, I know that many times they're quite desperate to get a boyfriend. You look at them and you think, oh, well, she's pretty, like she's got to have heaps of options, but most of the options that she's got are guys that are flawed dudes that don't even really have true confidence. They're not even really alpha. They're just, weak men. It's very hard for women to find real men these days. It's very, very hard. And additionally, because attractive women, because they're attractive, a lot of guys, they spend a lot of time in the thinking zone, in the hesitating zone, where they're trying to work out whether the girl likes them or not. So she has a lot of guys, hanging around her and Facebook messaging her and calling her and texting her, but they're too afraid to make a move because she's so attractive. It's like, dude, just move it forward. Just hold her. Look her in the eyes, grab her, start kissing her, take off her skirt and just go for it. She's just waiting for it, man. Just do it. Another thing about women being more desperate than you think, in terms of attractive women, just because you think a woman is attractive doesn't mean that other guys think she's attractive. A lot of the clients over the years have told me, it's a pretty common thing that guys say, I want to be able to get women that I find attractive. And I couldn't agree more with them, right? But, these guys have told me over the years, who've been out, and I say, okay, which girls do you think are attractive? And they'll point out women that I don't think is attractive, and whereas I'll say, oh, I think that girl's attractive, oh, I don't like her, and it's like, it's interesting to see that, if you line up 10 attractive women that are models, and you get a bunch of guys, to rate them, some guys will say, she's number one, oh, definitely, and the other guys say, no, I wouldn't touch her, no way. You know, and the other guy said, no, this one here, this one here. Everyone's got their own tastes, right? So a woman that you find attractive isn't necessarily being hunted down by all the alpha males and she's got like a million options, right? An example of that happened recently for me. I was eating at a food hall, you know, in the shopping malls where they got all the takeaway stores and stuff like that. And I sat down and I was eating away. I was sitting there alone, and about 15 meters away, something like that, this girl was eyeing me off hard, right? She just kept looking at me. I'm eating, she kept looking and trying to get the smiles going and stuff like that. Kept on looking. But even though she was like kind of attractive, I didn't feel that the attraction that I would want to feel for a woman that I would go and talk to. It was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, I'd probably, you know, have sex with her once and that's it. So for her, she probably, at that moment, she's probably single, I'm assuming, by the way she was looking at me. And she wants to find a boyfriend. She's probably desperate to find a boyfriend, but can't find one. You know, and then some other guy will be walking along as she's walking through the shopping mall later, will see her, find her attractive, and think that he's not good enough, think that he doesn't have a chance with her, when she's just hoping for a normal, average, everyday dude to just believe in himself, stop her and talk to her, get her number and move it forward, and start a relationship with her. She's just hoping for that. She's dreaming for that. But most guys can't see it. Okay, now we're up to number 2. That first one went for quite a while. There's a lot to that, and I hope that I gave you enough there to help you understand it, and to start to believe it, and stop trying to lie to yourself and say, no, but you have to be this and that, you can't. Stop it, you know, if you're doing that to yourself, right? Get with the program, man, get real, look at the world around you, stop behaving like you're not good enough, because you are, man. Like, seriously, stop it. Alright, so number 2. Place yourself above women in terms of dominance. Okay, so this is about accepting your position as a man. Now, I've talked about it a bit throughout the program so far, but I was saying embrace your alpha male position and stuff, but you also need to accept it. You need to accept that that's who you are, man. You've been born as a man, right? Born as a boy, and then you've grown into a man, right? You're a man. Accept it. A lot of guys in the modern world, and heck, they probably did it in the ancient world as well, but who knows what happened back then. But I can see what's happening in the modern world, and I can tell you that a lot of guys in the modern world, they hand over their alpha position to women, right? So they talk to a woman, hand over their position, and you can be the alpha, in the hope that the woman takes pity on them and chooses them. Women aren't the choosers, man. You're not trying to get the woman to choose you. You're not the shiny, glittery thing. You're not the male peacock. You get to choose the woman. That's how the male, female, the human mating dance works. The man is the chooser. Right? So, men these days, they try to hand over their alpha position in the hope that these confident, independent women will, little pat on the head, take pity on them. Okay, you can come back and have sex with me. What? You know, you're deciding whether or not you like her, right? You're in the alpha position. And quite simply, that is how nature works, right? In terms of humans, that's how nature works, right? Women will submit to your alpha male power. They'll submit to your alpha position. That's just how nature works, right? So accept it. Women are designed to submit to your alpha male power, and they want you to use it on them. Right? They want you to use it on them. They want you to use that power over them that you have over them. It's erotic for both of you. For you to be in that masculine position, and she's the woman, and she submits. You're the man. You're in charge. You're leading the situation. It's erotic for both of you. It's the ultimate dynamic. Right? Women want you to use that power, that position you have over them. They want you to. Right? Don't forget that. The thing is, though, when it comes to accepting your position as a man, in the modern world, it's a bit of a challenge. It's not like it used to be, where women, they had their place, and they were quite happy with that. Before the feminist movement came along, women were happy to be to play second fiddle to the man, to be, in the one down position. They felt proud about that. to be in that position. But as time went on and the feminist movement came and women entered the workforce, and TV shows came along and pop stars that they're still doing it to this day, singing about being independent, being powerful, and all that sort of stuff. Women start to get confused about what their identity actually is, and they sort of kind of want to be like men, in terms of independence and power and equality and stuff. But deep down, at an instinctive level, in terms of what attracts them and what makes them the most happy in a relationship, during sex, during an interaction, it's when the man is the man, and the man retains his position as the man. Doesn't drop it, no matter who he's talking to. So remember that. No matter what type of woman you're speaking to, no matter how masculine she is or what position she has in society, just remember that she's actually looking for a man that she can submit to. That's her natural instinct, that's her natural deep desire. It's not about disrespecting women and saying, you're beneath me and you're nothing and all that sort of stuff, right? It's, in terms of dominance, they are beneath you. In terms of intelligence, she may be on the same level, maybe more intelligent than you. It's not that she's not valuable, she's a valuable woman, she's a valuable human being. She deserves equality. She deserves to have a voice, she deserves her rights. It's a great new world, modern world that we're living in, but at the end of the day, she's not more dominant than you. Because when you allow a woman, even slightly and subtly, and you're dropping that during conversations and interactions, you allow her to be more dominant than you, it ruins the sexual dynamic. It ruins the ultimate dynamic that men and women are looking for with each other, and the one that creates the most amount of sexual tension and attraction and desire, and the most amount of happiness and harmony and just fluidity. Things just work. It's just, the best type of dynamic. So with uplifted women, right, I refer to these modern independent women as being women who have been uplifted. They've been unchained, and they can contribute and have a voice, right? With these women, with this new way that humanity is going, I just want to point out that don't confuse it with women taking over and women being the men. What have I got here? Don't confuse it with women taking over and men submitting, right? It's not where it's going, and it's not what we want, and it's not what women want. So don't listen to anything that you see on TV as meaning that. Women saying comments, if you overhear something, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that women are taking over and men are going to be the ones submitting to them. I know that even that might even sound crazy funny to some dudes, if you're watching now, you'll be like, no way, but the way that men behave around women these days, it's like they're sort of resigned to that happening, that these new powerful women with a voice, they're just going to have to put up with them and be good little boys in order to get some action. So the thing is, if you walk up to a woman, or if you make eye contact with her, if you walk up to her, you have a conversation with her, whatever the situation, you're on a date with her, if she can get the feeling, if she can sense from the entire sum of what you are, your conversation, your mannerisms, your gestures, your intonations, the way that you respond to things, the way you're looking at her, how comfortable you are, your overall vibe and presence, if she can get the sense that you're not intimidated by her at all, she's going to feel a deep attraction for you. She's not going to be able to help that, right? So the thing is, you've got nothing to be intimidated about. Like, if you're inexperienced with women, or you're starting to attract and date women that are, were previously out of your league, in your mind, you'll be going through the transition point of, knowing that you can have these type of women. And, think about the mindset before, realize that you're already good enough. You're going through that, you're getting used to that mindset. If you're on a date with a girl, you're talking to a girl, and you're still intimidated by her, and you're thinking, wow, she's so valuable, and I would be so lucky to have a girl like this, and, little old me, I don't really deserve this, then it's going to come through. and your intimidation of her is going to turn her off. It's a deep thing that just happens. It's a switch, at an instinctive level. It's just she just can't feel it. So if you can get used to the mindset I was talking about before, it's going to help you so much, because you don't need to be intimidated by women for all the reasons I talked about earlier in terms of your value to women. And additionally, you don't need to be intimidated by them because you're the man and they don't actually want you to be intimidated. They're not intimidating, they're just girls. They can say whatever they want, they can act as masculine as they want, they're just girls. You're the man, right? So if she can get the sense that you're not intimidated by her at all, and that'll come through in your vibe, and as I said, all the other things, your conversation, your reactions to things, etc., she can get that sense, you got it done. Basically, you've got your choice with women. Girls are just going to like you. They're going to feel attraction for you. They're going to want to be with you. Because it's rare. It really is rare these days for a confident, independent type woman to come across a guy that's not intimidated at all. There's nothing coming through his vibe to say, oh, I'm so scared. This is, what if I stuff up? And, I'll be so lucky if I could get her. Don't be like that. Your approach to women can really be very simple once you get rid of all the mess, all the noise, all the unnecessary insecurities, right? I remember a few years ago a client asking me, he was starting to see it all, and he's like, he was starting to see how simple it was, and he was starting to let go of all the unnecessary stuff. And he asked me, he said, look, if you could sum it up in the most simple way possible, what I need to do to be successful with women, what would it be? And I said, be confident, talk, and move it forward. So, confidence, all this stuff that I've been talking about, talk to her, and just move it forward. By having the type of confidence that I'm talking about, that I'm explaining in this program, and that we talk about in all of our programs in different ways at The Modern Man, we try to get guys to understand it in so many different ways with different examples and stuff. But this confidence that we talk about, having that confidence, it just takes care of most of the attraction that women are wanting to experience when they interact with the guy. The attraction just happens by default. So you have that type of confidence, you go over and talk to her, and then you move it forward. No hesitating, no, can I, whatever. Move it forward. Okay, a little subsection I've got in this one here. Place yourself above women in terms of dominance. I've got here, she's scared and intimidated. Right? Got here, what I eventually realised, most closed girls, like girls who are closed off, or they appear like they wouldn't be interested in talking to you if you make eye contact with them, or you go over and talk to them and they're a bit closed up, most of them are just scared and need help to open up. Right? So, you're walking through a shopping mall or you're out in a public place and you look at a girl and she looks at you, right? Now, in most Western countries, the girl is going to be so caught up with the culture of trying to look like she's an independent woman and, she's got her own thing going on and all that sort of stuff, that she'll look at you and she'll look away. Whereas, I found in some countries like Thailand, for example, you look at a woman and she'll look at you and look back and smile and stuff, right? Different culture, different reaction. However, what I found is that it doesn't matter that the woman is doing that in the Western countries. Underneath, she's still the same type of human being. She still has the same needs and wants, and you've got to learn to look through it, right? So, what I did, I remember going on a holiday to Thailand, and the women were just so, vibrant and smiling, and it was too easy to pick up over there. But you'd look at girls and they'd look at you and then, they'd be smiling back and just like, oh, this is too easy, Come back to Australia and you look at girls and they'll be like, that sort of thing, and they'd look away. But, I know from all my experience with women that if I go over and talk to her, she's going to feel attraction for me. And if she's single, I've got a very high chance of moving it forward to sex or starting a relationship, etc. Right, so I learned to look through it. I learned to look through what the superficial culture. And, in moments like that, I remember doing tests being out in a public place and looking at a girl, and she'll look at me and I'll look and I'll be like, I'll give her a wave. I'm like, give her a wave, smile at her and break her out of it. And I remember one time in Australia, I went out to eat some breakfast on a Sunday morning, and I wanted to get, the bacon and egg breakfast sort of thing. And I went to a particular restaurant in Melbourne, sat down, I'm eating the breakfast, and I was flirting with the waitress a bit. And, I could tell that she was shy, just standard, normal girl. Most guys think that hot girls are confident and all girls are confident, so if a girl acts shy, most guys think that she's not interested, whereas I saw her acting shy, and I was talking to her and flirting with her. She's like this, and really didn't know what to do with herself because she was intimidated and a bit shy and nervous. So I'm flirting with her, talking with her, exchanged names, talking about a few things, and when I left, I walked out of the restaurant and I turned around and she's looking at me, right? So I turned around and look at her, and I'm like, I'll give her a wave goodbye. She's like, waves goodbye, and then she's like giggling and, scurried off, going talking to her friends because she realised she got busted, checking me out as I left, because I obviously made an impression on her. I was talking to her, I was confident, relaxed, etc. But, if I did not have the knowledge that I have, I would have thought that girl wasn't interested. I went back the weekend later, exactly 1 week later, and I got her number. When I came back, I walked in like, you again? Oh no. She looks at me and starts laughing and stuff, like, hey, so how you been? How was the week? And she's talking and stuff, and talking about my week. And I'm like, you know what? I want to get Sam again. I want to get that breakfast. It was awesome last week, And she goes, oh, what'd you get? And I said, you don't remember what I got? It's like, jeez. And she's laughing, just playing with her, But anyway, we had a bit of a chat, got her number, and then I started seeing her after that. But as I said, if I did not have the knowledge that I had, I would have looked at that situation when I first started talking to her, and I would have thought that she wasn't interested. Because when she came out to take my order, the first time, when I first started interacting with her, like, I looked at her and I was like, whoa, because, she was attractive. I looked at her and I'm like, how you doing? How are you? She's like, oh, hi. And she's, got the notepad. And I said, oh, well, I'll get this breakfast here. And I said, and actually I'll get the pancakes as well. And she went in, got the order, and then she brought the breakfast over to me. And I said, hey, by the way, what's your name? I'm Dan. And she said, oh, told me her name, and then I started chatting to her. But, I could see that she was intimidated. I could see that she was like a nervous 22-year-old girl. And at the time, what was I? 33. So I know that as a man, part of, my role is to help women open up in situations. Like you're walking through a shopping mall and a girl looks at you and she looks away and she looks back again. Give her a smile. Give her, give her one of these ones, or give her a, do something, gesture something out of the norm to let her know that you're a friendly guy, that you're a cool guy, that you're confident, that it's okay for her to smile. She doesn't have to pretend like she's some supermodel or important person that just looks away when people look at her, right? Like most girls in Western society do. And over the years, many women have told me that that they're nervous. That when I've probed and asked some questions, secretly on behalf of the modern man, asked some questions about why they behave in certain ways. And I've had many women tell me that a guy will look at them and they'll look away because they don't want to seem too desperate. They don't want to seem too keen. The guy will look, he'll give her a smile, and she'll look away, and she'll be thinking in her head, what do I do? What do I do? Just look away, and then maybe he'll come over and talk to me. So you can't judge. You can't go through the world waiting for the wow reactions that you see happen in TV. Like you see those deodorant commercials where the guy sprays it on and he's got women all over him, right? Or the sitcoms or the movies. You see some movies and the girl will be walking along the street, the guy will be walking along the street, and the girl will look and she'll stop and she'll turn around and she'll wait, or she might even come over and talk to him. Like in the real world, most people are insecure, and for women, they've got all these complex, this confusion going on in their mind, because they're pop stars that they're influenced by and that they look up to. They act like these really cool, independent women that don't even need men. They've got men dropping at their feet. You look at those music videos and the men are bowing down at the women's feet and being pushed around and stuff like that. And then they see the TV sitcoms, and the way that it plays out, thanks to the writers, is these guys are going to extraordinary lengths to approach the women and chase them, and women, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do other than in the moment they just freeze and they're like, oh, and the moment goes. So it's up to you as a man to see through all that and not to be thrown off by it, not to be waiting for women to lead you. All right, you're in the position of leadership. You're the man. Right? You decide what you're going to do. You see a woman that you like, you decide whether you're going to talk to her or not. You're not waiting for her to come over, or give you a look like they do in the movies. You're not waiting for it, right? You're deciding what you're going to do. Okay, so number 3, in terms of unleashing your alpha male power, realize that it's easy to be an alpha male. And an example I can give you to highlight that you do have the inbuilt ability, that you can do it, is think about going to a restaurant and ordering something from the menu, right? You sit down in a restaurant, you're looking at the menu, you're capable of making a decision, and the best decision that you can make from the available options. Such is life. You're presented with situations, make a decision based, the best decision you can based on the available options, right? So you don't need to look to others to lead, because they've just got the menu option as well. They've got to make a decision. Why not you? Get used to making the decision. And the thing is, it's not about getting the decisions right 100% every time. You can't do that. It's not humanly possible. But you should try to make the best decisions possible, right? Not just hasty decisions that you're not even thinking about. You just do this. Think about it. If you're in a situation with people and a decision needs to be made, and you're not entirely sure, give yourself the 30 seconds by talking it out. You might say, okay, so we could do this or we could do that. If we do this, that'll probably happen. So, okay, I reckon we do that. Rather than just being impetuous, rather than being hasty and just do this, trying to be the leader but being ineffective at it. You're allowed to take your time. And if in the process of making the decision you take too long and someone else makes the decision, then give the approval of that if you think it's good. They say, oh, we should do that. It's like, yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Yeah, we should do that. And go with it. Well, hey, good one, man. Do that. Just go with it. You don't have to be the first to make the decision, but, if someone jumps in, and you don't have to make the 100% correct decision every time, but do your best. Get used to it. And get used to taking the time that you need to take. Eventually, you'll learn to trust your gut instinct, though. Like, a lot of the time, your gut instinct choice is going to be right. You've got the feeling of what would be the right thing to do, go with that. And if it turns out to be wrong, like if you make a decision and you go somewhere and you do something and it turned out to be the wrong decision, it's okay, you haven't failed. It's okay to say, oh, well, that turned out pretty crap. It's like, well, we could have done this, but we did that. Oh, well, next time we'll decide differently. You haven't failed, you're not a bad alpha male, you're not a failure, right? But you should get into the habit of trying to get into the habit of making the right decision. However, if you live your life in a way that you hide from making decisions, you hide from stepping up and being the alpha male, then you're going to be living the life of a lower ranking male. And if you are a lower ranking male, you're not going to be as attractive as you could be to women. So you're going to be running at, 50% or whatever. You're going to be running the engine. If you look at, think of an engine with the car, the engine's blowing out smoke and stuff like that. Tune the thing. Run it like a Ferrari. Run it like a Lamborghini. You can be, right? Be the alpha male. It's actually easy to be the alpha male, and it's easier. It's a less stressful life to be living, rather than always looking around for who you should follow and if you fit in, and if you're cool enough, if the alpha male likes you and stuff like that. It's a stressful life to be living, and then not being as attractive as you could be to women, going into social situations with your girlfriend, for example, and you being a lower ranking male and other alpha males making her feel attraction and you feeling all insecure and jealous and protective about that. That's not a good life to be living. Okay, so I've got another example here for you of empowering leadership. So taking the lead in a way where it's going to be welcomed by people, right? One of the things I learned early on about leadership is that a leader is not a leader unless he has a following. So unless people are actually following you, then you're not a leader, right? So if you go about trying to boss people around in a way that makes them frustrated, makes them resent you, then you're not going to be a leader. They're not going to want to follow you, all right? So the key to it is empowering leadership, and getting used to using empowering leadership. I use it in the corporate world, and I use it in my life. I've used it in my life since. I use it, in this example I'm going to tell you now. I was at a Bucks party, so stag night, I think they call it in the US and UK and stuff. And we went to play, one of the things we did on the days, we went paintballing. And there was the red team against the blue team. I think we had about 5 or 6 on each team. And we went into the big paintball building, big warehouse, and the staff there put us through the safety regulation process, and we had to watch the safety video, and then they brought us into the warehouse and they kitted us all up and stuff. And then they explained the basics of the game. They said, for this first war, this first challenge, you're going to have to, red team on this side, blue team on that side, there's a cone in the center and it's got a flag. The red team, you've got to try to make your way to the cone and get the flag, and then get back. One of the team members has to do that without getting hit. Right, so the blue team headed off over to the other side, and just for the record, they had like an army guy in there and 2 guys were police officers, so they had a bit of an edge over us to start with. But my group, we looked at each other and we said, right, what are we going to do? And I said there, empowering leadership. I said, all right, so who's got some ideas on what we're going to do? And everyone was sort of like umming and ahhing and things like that. I said, all right, how about this, right? And then I suggested a strategy. So I said, I'll leave the names out of it, but I said, hey, you and you, how about you guys go over here, cover this side, because I'm going to go up the center. I'm going to give it a go for the flag. You cover this side. Make sure you focus on the sniper as well, because I can already see, such and such going up there. And I said, you go over here and cover this side. And then the war began, and I tried to head up, and I got pretty close to the flag, and then I got hit, had to come back, and we tried our strategy, and we evolved it a bit from there, and we ended up losing on the day by a small margin, but it didn't make me an ineffective alpha male. It would have been great if we had won, but it wasn't a situation where it was like, we had to win and it was so serious. We were mucking around as well. But in that situation, I'm comfortable using empowering leadership, as opposed to, as I said before, a leader's not a leader unless he has a following. Now, imagine if I approached it in a different way, and I said, all right, so here's what we're going to do, right? You go over here and shoot them, and you do this and cover that, and I'm going to go at the middle. Sometimes that's going to work. The guys are just going to go along with it. But in this situation, most of the guys in the group were also alpha, and they probably wanted to have their say as well. They probably wouldn't have been too happy about being bossed around like that. And some people have pride issues and all that sort of stuff, and they want to say, hang on, hang on, we've got to discuss it. And you don't want to encounter those sort of situations, because then you're a leader that people don't want to follow. Then you're causing people to resent you, you're causing problems. Whereas I'm not trying to be the, hey, everyone listen to me. I'm just trying to make the situation work for everyone. And that's like the good guy alpha. It's like, let's just make this work, man. And if you follow me, good. If this guy comes up with the idea, good. What is it? Okay, let's do that. You know, like, it's not, you know, it's not so important in every situation. You don't take it so seriously, but you do take the lead. And being an alpha, being a leader is something that you need to get used to. And it's not something that you're going to get in 1 second and then it's totally sorted and, you know, you're the best alpha in the world. Like, another personal story is that when I got promoted into the position of leadership, I wasn't good. I had to learn a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. And initially, the team that I had, they didn't like me. Because, I mean, one of the reasons was that I was uncomfortable giving them, you know, reprimanding them, giving them constructive feedback, you know, giving them both sides of the coin. I was only really comfortable saying good job and oh yeah, that's good and all that sort of stuff. I wasn't really comfortable giving them, you know, tougher feedback. And I was a bit too soft. And, you know, and I wasn't good at empowering people that well. I mean, I was okay at it, I was learning it, but I wasn't that experienced at it. So, you know, I had troubles in the team at the start. You know, they were doing their job, because most people, you know, in life, if they got a job, they just want to basically do a good job, do the right thing. But, you know, there were some bad eggs in the team, and I wasn't able to really handle that. But I learned a lot of the things that I'm teaching you now. You know, instead of placing, even though I was in the position of leadership, I was nervous talking in front of the team. Like, if I had the team meeting, I was still a bit nervous. You know, the old me was still lingering, and I was placing some of the team members above me, you know, in terms of dominance. Like, subtly in my mind, I didn't feel like I was the most alpha in the situation, even though I kind of did, because I had the position. It was like, hey, you know, I'm the leader. You know, and it was not being able to give them the feedback, it was not being able to get people involved and get them empowered, get them inspired, you know. But then I learned I learned what to do. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to do things like seek first to understand, then to be understood. You know, that's something that really helped me, and I still use to this day. It's something that I don't think I'll ever stop. It's so powerful. It's so effective, and that is, you first seek to find out what a person understands about a situation, and then you seek to be understood. Then you put in your input. So when I first started becoming the alpha, the leader, it was about, hey, everyone listen to me, this is what we're going to do. Because I thought that's how you do it. But then eventually it was like, okay, so here's the situation, guys. You know, what do you know about it at the moment? Before I start telling you what I know and what I've been briefed on and what I think we should do, I want to know what you guys think, you know, what you know and what your ideas are. So suddenly everyone's excited to get involved in the meeting. Suddenly everyone feels empowered. You know, and I've got an opportunity then to say, you know, someone says something, oh, well, you know, I know that it's this and that, and we've got to do this. And I've got an opportunity then to say, good, that's excellent, and praise them on that. And then they can feel involved in the situation, and they can feel like, you know, in front of the team that they're actually one of the, you know, the leaders. They're one of the leadership group underneath me. You know, they're doing a good job, and, you know, they see that when they do a good job, I reward that in front of others. You know, so eventually you learn that sort of stuff. And likewise with being the alpha around, you know, other guys, and likewise with being the alpha around women. It's something that you've got to get used to. And, you know, everything that we teach at the Modern Man in all of our programs teaches you how to be the alpha, right? But you've got to get used to doing it if you're not used to it. And if you're kind of used to it already and you're kind of good at it, just keep going and you're going to get better at it. Believe in yourself that you can, because you really can, right? If someone like me could do it, whereas, you know, I used to be like really socially anxious and go red if the attention went on me, you know, I'd sort of get dry-mouthed, all that sort of stuff. If I can transform, then, you know, geez, anyone can do it, right? It's not something that is reserved for special people in the world, you know. It's like, you've got it within you. Just unleash it. So, being alpha, being the alpha male, embracing the power that you have, it comes from, as I said, your thinking earlier on, right? It's a state of mind, just like being a beta male or an omega male is a state of mind. And then it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit of being after you do it for a while. Just like being a lower ranking male becomes a habit of being, right? For me, I don't have to think about being alpha anymore, I just do it. It's just who I am. Whereas I used to be a lower ranking male, and that was just who I was. So it's something that you just got to get used to. And the more that you do it, the more natural it will become for you. But the thing is, there is going to be a stage of awkwardness. Just like there's a stage of awkwardness when you want to learn how to drive a car, and you don't know how to drive a car, and you first get in there and start getting your lessons. Feels a bit awkward, you don't really know what you're doing, but eventually it's like you don't have to think about it, you just do it. Alright, so same with being alpha, same with taking the lead. You're going to have to go through that stage of awkwardness. As long as you're prepared to do that, as long as you're prepared to have experiences over the next few weeks, few months, and get used to it, and you know in advance that, okay, I'm going to get used to it, it's going to be a bit awkward at times, but I'm going to get used to it, then you can look forward to the benefits at the end, where there's no more approach anxiety, there's no more worrying about things, there's no more feeling intimidated by women, there's no more feeling intimidated by other alpha males. It's a different life that you live as an alpha male. And just on the topic of approach anxiety, I've got a pretty cool technique coming up for you soon. But in the meantime, got a topic here, born to be alpha. A bit of a subsection here. If you're not raised to be an alpha, if you didn't have like a great male role model or good male role models like your uncles and things like that, they didn't teach you to be an alpha male, and you've grown up and you're kind of an alpha male or you're not, can you change? Alright? Yes, you can, obviously. One of the frameworks to understand it is the 4 stages of learning. Alright, so I've got here, if you don't know the 4 stages of learning, it's unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. So what does that all mean? Alright, so number 1, unconscious competence, the first stage of this 4-stage learning process. That is, you don't know how to be alpha or what you've been doing wrong. So you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't even know that you're doing it wrong, and you don't know what else you could do to change that. Alright, so that's that first stage. Second stage, conscious incompetence, that's when you're consciously aware that you're doing the wrong thing. You're consciously aware that you've been making mistakes. Alright, so you know the beta and omega mistakes that you've been making. Conscious competence is when you can do it right, you can be alpha, but you have to think about it. So conscious, you're consciously competent. You have to think about it, and then you're good. Then you're able to be alpha. Unconscious competence is the stage where you become a natural. So you naturally think, behave, and act like an alpha male without having to consciously decide to. You're not consciously concentrating on trying to be alpha. You're just at that stage of naturally being alpha. So as long as you're prepared to go through that process, then you will become an alpha male, a true alpha male, and you will enjoy the benefits of that. Okay, number 4. Realize that you're allowed to be an alpha male. There's no application process. There's no closed tribe that we're living in anymore. You don't have to go through an initiation and a ritual and all that sort of stuff. You're allowed to be, and you decide it. There's no set list of alpha males in your town or city. It doesn't work like that, right? It's up to you. You decide. Right? So you're allowed to be. That's what I was saying earlier when I was talking about, one of the things I realized was that early on, and that helped me then become a leader and get promoted and stuff, was that, when they put me in that situation, in that fishbowl situation, and they had the people there sitting back and standing back with the clipboards, I knew that I was allowed to be the alpha male. I knew that it was either going to be me or someone else was going to step up. And it's like, and I'm allowed to. It's not a bad thing for me to step up and be the alpha male, right? It turned out to be a very good thing for me and for the people that I ended up managing and leading, because I feel like I did a good job, and then it helped me become the man that I became, and I left that and then started the Modern Man, so it's helped me even to this day, so now I'm able to sit here and help you, all starting back from those decisions I made early on, and the realizations I had, realizing that I was allowed to be, the other realizations for you. Realize that you're already good enough for women, right? Realize that it's easy to be an alpha male. You know, go through that process and enjoy the benefits of it. Let's see. What I got here is that the world responds directly to your perception of yourself, right? In the past, for example, personally speaking, women responded directly to my perception of myself. I walk into a social environment like a bar or whatever, and I walk up to women, and they could see that I perceive myself as being less than and unworthy. So they responded directly to that and they accepted it. You know, I walk into the situation, I'm a nervous guy, I don't feel like I'm worthy. That's who you are, right? The world just says that back to you. That's who you are. Good for you. I walk into a situation these days, and women can see and they can sense that I am worthy, and I know that. And I don't have anything to prove, and I'm not intimidated. And the world says back, yep, okay, that's who you are, good on you. And the world will respond directly to your perception of yourself, right? You're in control. So a party example, if you walk in and you feel like you're beneath everyone, so say you go to a house party, right? You walk in and you feel like you're beneath everyone there is a bit cool and all that sort of stuff, and you sort of don't feel like you're as cool as most of the people there, then everyone's going to accept that. They're going to see it written all over your body language, they're going to hear it in your conversation, they're going to pick it up with your vibe, and they're going to accept it. That's who you are. Good for you. Alright? If you walk into the same house party and you feel like you're equal to everyone there, you feel like everyone's your equal. Walk in, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Hey, this is an awesome party, hey. Oh, whatever, just talking, getting involved in it, they're going to accept that as well. You feel like you're equal? Good for you. Likewise, you can walk into that same house party and without trying to boast or puff your chest up or make anyone feel bad, in your mind you can feel like you're slightly better. Right? So, the thing is, the guys and girls who are like that, they feel like they're valuable people, but they're not trying to make anyone feel bad. They're the one that everyone thinks is the coolest. You know, they're the ones that people want to cling to in the party environments. The cool people, the people that are confident and everyone sees as valuable. You know, so it's not a bad thing to think well of yourself, but it is a bad thing to go too far, like walking in and thinking you're way above everyone else. Walking in, yeah, what's up? Yeah, pretty shit party, you know, or whatever, right? Going way too far. It's not about trying to make anyone feel bad. It's not about people looking at you and saying, oh wow, isn't he so special? But it's about having that power within, having that belief in yourself and knowing that you are valuable by default. So at this point I'm going to skip to a clip of the seminar where I'm talking about this in terms of picking up women, right? And attracting women. What's better? What do you think? Before I show you the clip, do you think when you're talking to women, should you place them as equal to you? Or should you should they be getting the sense from you that you're slightly a bit better than them? What do you think it would be? Let's check it out. For pickup, I've found that, you know, when you're talking to women, what women want is they want a guy that they feel like is just slightly a little bit better than them. You know, not too much, not over the top, but they want to feel like they're getting a good deal out of the situation. So when you're talking to a woman, like, you're just slightly a bit better than her. You know, you give that sort of vibe off. But in terms of making friends, yeah, you want to be like, everyone's your equal. Everyone's your equal, you're on an equal level with everyone. Like if you want to make friends, so I know a lot of guys who are learning this stuff, they find that a lot of their friends are already in relationships or they don't have many cool friends to go out and approach women with and stuff. And they love to make some friends with cooler guys so they can go out and meet women with them. But cooler guys don't want to hang around with guys who feel like they're beneath them. You know, they're just, if you can talk with guys who are cooler guys and just put yourself on an equal level with them. Hey man, how's it going? What's happening? And just not, oh hey man, how's it going? And putting yourself on that lower level, right? It's not going to get you anywhere. But yeah, give yourself permission to be that type of guy because people will too. So as I was saying in that clip, women want to get the feeling that they're getting a good deal out of it, you know, that you're slightly a bit better than them. They don't want to feel like they're doing you a favour. And likewise with making friends. As I said in the clip, over the years I've met a lot of guys who are trying to work on this area and their friends are either in relationships or They don't really have that many friends at this point in their life, and they're wondering, how can I make friends with cool people, with cool guys that I can go out approaching women with? So with the cool guys, with the guys that are good with women, while they might be friends, happily be friends with the guys who aren't good with women, they're not going to go out of their way to try to go out and party with guys that are nervous and hopeless with women. They're going to be more compatible in terms of a friendship with guys that are on their level, right? So when you're talking to people and you're wanting to make friends with guys that you think are cool, then put yourself on an equal level to them. There's no need to place yourself below them. You're valuable by default, you're a cool guy, and it's up to you to decide that. Make the decision, you're a cool guy, end of story. And talk to them not as though, hey, can I get your approval? Can you like me? Can you accept me? Can you be my friend? It's like, hey, how you going? I'm here. I'm Dan. And talk to them on an equal level. Yeah, what's been happening, man? Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, and talk to them about stuff. Rather than, oh, hey, so what's been happening? And like you're trying to get approval, you're trying to get accepted. So let's talk more about interacting with other alpha males, right? Other guys that are, cool alpha male guys, right? Let's paint a scenario. Say, for example, at the moment, you know of some guys that are cool alpha male guys, and you're not an alpha male in that situation at the moment. You sort of feel like they're a bit more, dominant. They're alpha, and you're sort of lower ranking than them. Right? What do you do? How do you change that? How do you get them to see you as the alpha male, as an alpha male as well? Well, what I was saying before, do that. But also, I've got here, when you're in a situation with those guys, you don't. If one of them is more alpha, you don't pay more attention to the alpha and sort of lean on everything he says, and it's all about trying to impress him. If you're doing that, you're placing yourself below him, right? So talk to him on an even level. Share your attention around as you see fit, right? Show him respect, right? Show the alpha males respect, or the most alpha guy there respect, but don't try to impress him or get his nod of approval. You don't need to, because you're already the most alpha, all right? So, as I said, a lot of alpha is about how you think and how you perceive yourself. You don't have to go to war with other alpha males in order to prove yourself. Like, if you're in a social situation and there's a bunch of alpha males, you're not going to have a fight to decide who the alpha is. We're living in a fairly civilized world these days, so it's not going to come to that. You're not going to have a sword fight or do a shootout like they did in the Wild West and all that sort of stuff. It's basically a battle of minds. It's a battle of wills. It's a battle of confidence, and it's a battle of not dropping your alpha status. But also, in terms of making friends and being an effective alpha male, being a good alpha male, being a cool guy, it's not trying to make anyone feel bad. You're not trying to make anyone. You're not trying to prove yourself and say, I'm better than you, and I'm alpha, and you're not, and all that sort of stuff. It's like, the other guy can be as alpha as he wants. It doesn't matter to you. You're alpha. Alright, so talk to him. If he wants to be, be showy and boastful and all that stuff, yeah, good for you, man. Talk to him and encourage him. Let him do it. It's like, oh yeah, well, what happened then? No kidding. And what? And you did this, and you did, and they did that. All right. What happened? Let him talk about it. Let him feel like he's the center of attention. Up to him. You don't have to do the same. You don't have to bring him down. Let him do whatever he wants to do. So I've got here, looking for the nod from another guy automatically places him above you. All right. So don't look for the nod of approval with anything. You're talking to guys, you're getting along with them and stuff like that. It's good to have other guys say, oh, that's cool, and wow, that's interesting, and stuff like that, or yeah, that's a good idea, or whatever, but you're not looking to get their approval, right? The alpha decides what he's going to do and makes the decision, right? So, so it's not about being disrespectful towards the alpha, but don't place him above you. Most alphas naturally respect other alphas. So, when you're an alpha, the other guys are just going to naturally respect you. You see alphas when they meet each other in social situations, and they shake hands and all that sort of stuff, and there's a mutual respect. Whereas the bad alphas, the bad boy types, when they come across guys that are lower ranking males, they'll then disrespect the guy. They'll make fun of him. They'll use him to make themselves look good in front of others, right? But a bad alpha male is not going to try to do that to another alpha male. Like, I don't get bad boy alpha male types trying to mess with me. You know, they'll throw stuff out there, but you know, you're not being thrown off by that. You know, someone might say something that's like, yeah, good one, man. You know, rather than, oh, what? You know, getting all defensive about it. But it's never, oh no, he said something about me, now I'm less than. You know, or now he's got something over me. Say whatever you want, bro. You know, like, I'm still the alpha. You know, that's what's going on in your head. You know, you don't have to say, hey, say whatever you want, I'm still the alpha. That will, you're causing confrontation then. And that's insecure. You don't need to prove yourself. You just know that you're the alpha. So when it comes to interacting with other alpha males, or if other guys are putting pressure on you saying certain type of things, it's about maintaining your composure and not being thrown off by it. Not feeling like you're losing rank. Guys who think that they're losing rank when other guys put pressure on them and, you know, tease them, joke around, stuff like that, they've got lower ranking male thinking. The alpha male way of thinking about it is that no matter what anyone does, you're still the alpha male. You know, personally, it doesn't matter what anyone does, I still retain my rank. You know, and it's not about trying to enforce that rank using physical force, because that's unnecessary. It just doesn't get to that. Unless it's something really personal to you. Maybe it's family and you know, someone says something about your family or whatever. You're going to decide how you handle each situation, right? But personally, I haven't found anything that along the way where I've had to, you know, I've been challenged and I've had to respond with a fight response. You can respond with an assertive response. You can respond in a way where you're not thrown off by anything that anyone says. You don't. If someone says something and tries to affect you and tries to throw you off and make you get all defensive or angry or whatever, it's like what Stu said. I think he said it in Dating Stories, Dating Power Stories, the bonus that goes with Dating Power. He said, you know, with a girlfriend of his was doing all sorts of stuff to make him angry, and she said, you know, why aren't you getting angry and things like that? And he said, you're not important enough for me to get angry about, or something along those lines. But I don't know if he said it exactly like that. But the way he taught us and advised us, and we learned from him, was that you know, in most situations, most people are not going to be important enough for you to lose your cool over, get angry over. The only reason guys are going to want to mess with you and pick on you and put pressure on you continually is if you behave like a lower ranking male. Some guys will do that to make themselves look better. But if they challenge you and, you know, by saying things, putting pressure on you and all that sort of stuff, and you don't budge, you're not affected by it. Like as I said before, if someone says something like a comment to try to, you know, insult you or be offensive or get under your skin, you know, throw you off, get you angry or whatever, get you defensive, and you respond with, yeah, good one, man. Yeah, nice one. What else you got? You know, and like you're responding in it's just an easygoing, relaxed way. It's like you don't affect me, right? When guys see that they can't mess with you like that, they stop trying, right? It just stops. But if they mess with another guy and he gets all defensive or he feels nervous or it makes the other guy, you know, the attacker look good, then he'll keep doing it. Because not everyone out there is a good person with you know, good intentions, and you know, some people try to take advantage of other people to make themselves look good. So you avoid those people trying to use you by not being affected by what they do. Do whatever you want, man. What'd you say? Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, good one. And then you just get on with the conversation, the interaction or the action that you're doing. So in those situations, just get on with whatever you're doing. Continue interacting with that person. Okay, so a little subsection that I've got under this realization is the nice guy mistake in terms of being an alpha male. At the modern man, our approach is be a good guy, but also be confident, have balls, be alpha, be masculine, right? So it's about being a good guy. You know, we're nice guys at heart. But the problem for a lot of guys is that because of their upbringing, because of their ineffective thinking, because of their misinterpretation of of what they see on TV and so forth, they end up thinking that it would be impolite, arrogant, rude, or selfish to be alpha. No, the don't mind me sort of approach. It's like you don't want to have your choice of things. You don't want to have your way, because that would be selfish and rude and impolite and arrogant if you were to be the one in charge, right? That's the nice guy mistake that guys make when they push the nice guy thing too far. They think that, mistakenly think that the nicer they are, the more people are going to like them and respect them, yet that doesn't happen. That's not how nature works. It's not how human nature works. If you're a nice guy, that's good, but you've also got to be someone that people are going to respect. And to get respect from people, you've got to respect yourself. You've got to maintain your rank on your own decision, right? It's not based on the approval of others. So if you think about it, the good guy that's also alpha, he's everyone's favourite type of guy. Everyone wants to be friends with that guy. Everyone will give that guy the time of day. All the women like him. That's the cool kind of guy. The good guy that's also alpha, also confident. All right, so it's not the nice guy that's subservient and submissive and the don't mind me sort of thing. I'll just get out of the way and you decide. What are you going to do? What do you think you're going to do? And just, okay, yeah, let's do that. Of course I'm exaggerating it, but the exaggeration helps contrast what I'm talking about with this whole alpha thing. So on one end with the guy being really, don't mind me sort of thing, and then on the other end the alpha going, okay, well, here's the situation, what are we going to do? Let's do this. It's not selfish, it's not arrogant, it's not rude, it's not impolite. The fact is, people actually like those type of guys more. They want to be around that. People prefer to be around alpha males because they feel safer, they feel cooler. Like if you think about some of the guys that you've met over the years and you've seen how they've been treated in social situations, say at a house party and there's a group of people talking, and then there's a confident alpha guy that's also a good guy, right? He's alpha, he doesn't bow down to anyone, he doesn't drop his rank for anyone, he's there, he embraces his alpha role, doesn't try to make anyone feel bad. People want to be around that guy, people want to be that guy's friend. Right? I'm not saying that no one wants to be the nervous guy's friend, but in terms of social value, those guys hold a lot more social value in those situations. And of course, what this whole thing's about, women. Women like the guy more, right? He's got his pick of women. If you think about that situation, think about the house party that you've been at, the confident, cool alpha guy. All the girls want to be with him, pretty much. He's got his choice with women. Another example of this nice guy mistake is how guys behave when they're in a situation with a girl that likes them and they feel like it would be arrogant and sleazy and too forward to be alpha in the situation and grab the girl and start kissing her, right? Even though the girl's showing signals. The guy feels like that would be too sleazy and it would be the wrong thing to do. Right? So some guys end up going that far. And an example happened recently when I was out at a club with a friend of mine, an Italian guy. We've been going out clubbing and just having a great time. Getting girls every time we go out. It's a great time. And we had another guy come along with us, a mutual friend. I met this guy through a mutual friend, and he's a cool guy, but he doubts himself. And this guy, unlike my Italian friend and I, this guy is like a tall guy, and he's like a handsome man. He's got the chiseled jaw sort of thing. He works out at the gym, and he's tall and all that sort of stuff. He's got that going for him, but he doubts himself. Anyway, I met up with the other guy first, the new guy coming along, and we walked into the club, and my Italian friend was in there already. We walked up, and he's already talking to 3 girls. And then he introduces us to the 3 girls. So it's like walk in the club, you got girls already. Pretty sweet. But that's how him and I operate. We just walk in and get into it. Anyway, so after about 5 minutes of conversation, one of the girls in the group, her and I, we clicked. She liked me, and I liked her as well. But I decided I wanted to go get a drink from the bar. We were close to the bar, and I ended up walking over to the bar, and there was another girl at the bar, and I stood next to her. And you know, like what I was saying before, like girls aren't going to make it super obvious that they want to talk to you. I stood at the bar and I'm waiting for the bartender, and she's facing forward, and I look at her and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good, you know. And she's looking straight ahead, and you know, I could see her looking out of the corner of her eye, and then she sort of had a, you know, quick look that way, and then looking around, and she looks at me and then looks down, right? And I'm like, this girl, she wants to be approached. If she didn't want to speak to me at all, she'd be like doing that sort of thing, right? So it was a bit of a subtle signal, but even though she was giving that, even if she didn't give that signal, I would have talked to her if I felt like talking to her. But anyway, I hit her up, start talking to her, and we're getting along great. And she has 2 girlfriends, so the guys end up joining this group and of girls, and then my one, we clicked, we're getting along, it's all good. My Italian friend, he's talking to his, she likes him, but the other guy, the new guy, he's being really hesitant. And I'm like, and I was saying to him, I'm like, dude, this girl likes you, man. Like, why aren't you talking much to her? And he's like, I don't know, I don't really know what to talk to her about. You know, he'd said a few things. He said he'd exchanged names, talked about what they were up to that night, and then he'd run out of things to say. And it's like, just talk to her about anything, man. Just talk to her about this club, talk to her about how she knows her friends, talk to her about, you know, what you've been up to over the last few months. You know, just start opening up branches of the conversation. But he's sort of stuck, you know. And as I said, this guy, like, you know, he's a tall guy and he looks like, you know, he could be a model sort of thing, you know. Way better looking than me or my Italian friend. We're just like average guys, and he's this, you know, good-looking man, and he's doubting himself. He doesn't think that he's good enough. You know, he thinks that what he's got to say is not good enough for her. Right? So we ended up leaving that group because you know he wasn't really gelling with his girl, and I noticed that my girl was carrying a little bit of weight. And then we're like, let's go to another club. Went to another club. We walk in, and my Italian friend hit up some girls, and then we were standing at a table. I ended up getting a girl from the group, and we started making out, and it was on, and like she was being really, really sexy and really playful and stuff like that, and it was all good. And you know, I ended up sleeping with her that night. But the other guy, he had a girl, like another girl from the group, and she's talking to him, showing him so many signals of interest, and like literally facing him and like sometimes touching him on the chest, and you know, dancing really close with him. And I'm like, dude, kiss her, you know. I'm like, kiss her, you know, like do it. And he's like, yeah, like that. And it's like, what's he waiting for? Because, I mean, he wanted to get laid that night. He wanted to have sex, you know. He's like, I want to bang something. He's talking about it. And it's like, do it. What are you waiting for? You know, and then I ended up sending him a text message that said, dude, kiss her. She's waiting for you to kiss her. And he looks at me. He's like, yeah, like that. And she's dancing all over him. And he didn't end up doing it, and she ended up leaving. Right? She ended up, you know, talking to some other guys, and then he lost his opportunity. But you know, in his mind, he's thinking that moving forward so quickly would be a bit too sleazy and a bit too forward, and maybe it's not the right thing to do. And my Italian friend ended up asking me, like, he called me, I think the next day or whatever, and he was saying, he's like, Dan, he's like, what happened to our friend last night, mate? What happened, you know? He's always talking like that, what happened, you know, mate, what happened with him last night? What's this guy, man? What, you know? He's talking like that. And I said, I don't know, man, he was a bit shy, you know, and he's like, Dan, this guy, mate, he's tall, he looks like he's a magazine guy, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then the next time I saw my Italian friend, we went out the next week, and we walked into a club, and I walked straight in and walked up to some girls and just had my arm around the girl immediately. I'm just looking at her, playing with her, you know, facial body language, talking, and it's just sexual immediately, and it's just on. And then my Italian friend gets in the group and talking to the 2 girls, and they love him. And he said, Dan, he says to me later, he goes, look, I understand now. He said, why we don't have this problem that our friend had last week. And I said, what is it? You know, he said, we don't give the girls the opportunity to not want to be with us. We're straight in there. You know, and it's like, that's the alpha thing. It's like, just get straight in there and do whatever you want to do. Like, we don't give the girls the opportunity to, you know, we're not looking for, hey, is it okay if if I put my arm around you, hey, is it okay if I sort of start talking to you like this? And hey, is it okay if after a minute I put my arm around the back of your neck, or even around the, you know, the top part of your back, and just start kissing her? Is that okay? Like, I'm not looking for those signals. I just know that the girl wants to be with me, because that's just how I operate. You know, and you can either think like that or you can think like the other guy. So most guys will look at this other guy because he's tall and they'll think, oh yeah, he's got it made. And they'll look at themselves and they'll compare themselves to him and they'll say, oh, I'm not like him. You know, these attractive women would prefer to be with him. Right? So while this guy might get a superficial level of attraction, like he's been going most of his life not getting much at all, not getting much action. He only gets the girls that throw themselves at him. Whereas my Italian friend, he's got a bit of a gut. This guy eats a lot of pasta, right? And he doesn't care. You know, like he's, he presents himself fairly well. He wears okay clothes, but he's not like worrying about fashion or anything like that. Just dresses fairly well, fairly nicely, fairly average. His hairstyle just does whatever he wants. You know, just doesn't worry. He's not worried about any of that stuff. He just gets in there, and then just knows that the girls want to have sex with him. You know, and he's just got that alpha male power and presence where it's like, you know, hey, I'm here. You know, and he's got that going on. Just starts talking to the girls, and he does the facial body language that I talk about as well in Better Than a Bad Boy, where you're looking at the girl in a sexual way, where you're talking to her and you're looking at her like that one. Yeah, right, okay. And you're throwing that in sometimes. And the girls just start getting all giggly and smiley and turned on. And, you know, for him and I, we just go out and just walk up to girls, and it's pretty much the first girls or the second group of girls that we have sex with. One of us will get, you know, one of the girls from the group, and if you know, on the rare occasion that doesn't happen, one of us will go off on a commando mission, you know, if we don't both get one from a group. But the nice guy mistake is to think that, you know, what we're doing in that situation is sleazy and too forward. Yes, okay. Some women don't want to move forward that quickly. That's okay. You know, but, you know, you pick your women, right? You pick the women that you want to approach. And I pick women that are attractive and that I get the sense that they would want to have sex that night. You know, that's what I'm into in those situations. However, sometimes I meet a girl that doesn't want to have sex on the first night, and she's a bit more of a girl next door type and wants to take it slow and wants to have a relationship. But personally speaking, at the moment, that's not compatible with me. I'm not interested in that at the moment. So with that type of girl, I'll probably leave the situation and go to the bar, get a drink, and then go talk to some other girls. But let's just scale it back a bit. Let's scale it back from having sex on the first night to getting a phone number or kissing the girl on the first night. Say for example, you're the type of guy that thinks, having sex on the first night, a bit too forward in a lot of occasions. I'd be okay with talking to girls and getting a phone number or getting a kiss. Okay, so, you know, if that's you, for example, then don't be in a situation with a girl and be talking to her and waiting for really obvious signals. Be alpha and just go for it. Just move it forward to that. You know, don't be waiting for her to make it super obvious. Don't be thinking that it's a bad thing for you to get her phone number or to pull her aside to go sit down and kiss her, or to, if she's that type of girl, kiss her in front of her friends if she's okay with that, or go out to the balcony and get some air and kiss her there, or go to the bar and get a drink together. Whether it's water or soda or whether it's an alcoholic drink, doesn't matter. Go to the bar, have your moment together, talk to her face to face, and then pull her into you. You know, you can have that alpha approach and it's not sleazy, it's not too forward, as long as you're not doing it in a sleazy way. You know, like, I'm not walking up to girls and going, oh yeah, look at that, yeah, you know, and having a sleazy approach to it. It's more like a pre-acceptance of myself. You know, like I talk about in the flow, assume rapport, assume acceptance, assume attraction. I assume that the girls want to be with me. It's like what I said earlier, it's like, they're my girls. That's my harem. They're my girls to choose from. Hey girls, what's happening? You know, walk over, start talking to them. You know, not that I say hey girls, by the way, but hey guys, what's happening? You know, or hey, what's up? Alright, so just to finish this one up, you're allowed to be an alpha male. You're allowed to behave in those ways. As long as you're not doing it in an overly sleazy way. As long as it's coming from the right place, you're allowed to be alpha in that respect, in that way, when you're talking to women, and they just naturally respond to it. I haven't had a woman turn around and slap me, turn around and tip a drink over my head, like they do in the movies. But I have had women say, "Oh, you're quite forward, aren't you?" But they're turned on by it, and they're smiling, and they're seeing how I respond to that. And, you know, if a woman says that, by the way, she says, "Oh, you're quite forward, aren't you?" Just give her a smile like that, you know, and say, you know, and then have a drink or just start talking about something, but it's not a moment for you to say, oh well, yeah, I'm quite confident, or oh well, and start explaining yourself in any way, or feel uncomfortable in any way. Just give her a smile, because you know she likes it. She knows that she likes that you're forward, and she likes that you're alpha, and she's turned on by it. So before we move on to the next one, I just want to say about what I was saying about going out, and how my Italian friend and him and I just go out and basically take whatever women we want. It's not in a way where we're going over and being sleazy, as I said. And the thing is, women actually want men to behave in that way, as long as they're being respectful. Like women, you often hear them say, I like a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to get it. And you might have seen it. You might have seen, some alpha guys or an alpha guy walk up and talk to some girls, and he just sort of owns the situation. He just sort of, he just takes whatever he wants there, and it's actually a good thing for him, and it's a good thing for the girls, because they get to be with a guy like that. They want to be with a man that is more dominant than them. And it's not in a way where you're being selfish and taking things from the world, because you're actually giving. By going out there and being like that, you're giving women what they want. And as a result, they're giving you what you want. And it's a much more honest way of approaching things, because, when guys go, like in that situation with that other friend of mine, where he was being hesitant, he was, self-doubting, but he was trying to come across as though, he was trying to come across like the nice guy that, isn't so interested in having sex very quickly. But, in reality he is. So don't lie. Okay, it's not all about having sex with the girls on the first night. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. And not all girls are open for it on the first night. But at least, take and grab what the woman wants you to grab. She wants you to get her phone number, grab the phone number, follow it up. And then, give her the pleasure of being around an alpha male like you. Let her open up and surrender to you. And you penetrate into her and through her and give her that experience. And you have that experience of a woman fully opening up to you. Rather than this deceitful, oh, well, I'm just interested in going slow and getting to know you and becoming friends, and then maybe on the second date, then we can kiss and have sex. Guys that act like that, as I said in Better Than a Bad Boy, in reality, those same guys watch porn. And they don't sit there saying, oh, well, I'll just look and I'll just turn this off. And, they're right into it right away, And the same goes with when you're meeting women. You don't need to put on an act as though you're not interested in her sexually, or interested in getting, moving it forward, getting her phone number, following it up. Just do it.